Hey, football fans, welcome back to another episode of Lions Latest, the show where we gather around and talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Bryan Hanes, and we have some things to look forward to ahead of this Sunday night matchup and some roster moves to discuss. So let's just jump straight into this video. Starting off, we have some statistics and some trends from past games to look at before this matchup between the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. So the Lions are currently riding high with a 4-1 record and a 4-game winning streak as well, but the Vegas odd makers aren't convinced that that momentum will carry over into Sunday night's game. Which I don't really understand, but let's look at it. According to DraftKings, Detroit enters its primetime showdown with the Kansas City Chiefs as a 2.5 point underdog. Despite looking like more of a complete team through the first 5 weeks, Jared Goff continues to efficiently command the offense, while Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery have continued their dominance out of the backfield, and Amon-Ra St. Brown has sustained his high-level play through all 5 weeks. Maybe not so much week one, but the other weeks he's just been consistently amazing. Meanwhile, defensive coordinator Kelvin Shepard's unit has produced some positive results through his first season's first 5 games, forcing turnovers, limiting explosive plays, and running these blitz packages that I've been a big fan of. Still, odds makers are giving the edge to Patrick Mahomes and the reigning AFC champions, a team that, despite an uneven start, remains one of the league's most dangerous teams when still backed up into a corner. However, the loss to Jacksonville on Monday starts to definitely raise some questions about Kansas City's position in the league right now. Are you still a Super Bowl contender if these are games we're losing midway, or not midway, but early in the regular season? To me, this just seems like a Chiefs team a lot of folks were expecting to see like last year, but now it's coming into effect right now, especially being out without Rasheed Rice and dealing with some of their injuries, their O line not being amazing. I mean, they are dealing with some issues right now in terms of personnel. And this Chiefs slow start has definitely been an anomaly for the Patrick Mahomes era in Kansas City. So let's look at some stats now that we need to watch ahead of this game that will really kind of decide what team's going to do better. First, the Lions have a strong running game that allows takeover once it's established. Absolutely. If we get the running game established, there's a better chance we have of winning the game because our offense is able to click so much better. And I recently talked about in a video how I thought the Chiefs running defense was going to be really good going into this, but I've actually looked into it a little more, and the Chiefs running defense has not been great this season. They've allowed 4.8 yards a carry this season, and if we get started early and allow Goff to open up under play action when we get the running game established, we are going to be moving on offense. If we get started early, it'll allow a lot more to happen, and it'll allow Jared Goff to do a lot more than just passing plays on third down. I think when it comes to stopping the run, the Chiefs just can't seem to figure it out right now based on these stats. According to PFF, their run defense grade is 57, 26th in the NFL, and they only seem to be regressing. The Chiefs do well in third down situations, though, and this is something I am a little worried about. Their offense is still great because they still have Patrick Mahomes, guys. Stopping any type of designed quarterback run or short stuff underneath Travis Kelce is going to be critical to make sure we can get their offense off the field and don't let them drive for minutes at a time down into our part of the gridiron. And then finally, the wide receiver versus secondary battle. I think obviously we have it covered in terms of running backs. I think Detroit's got the better set of backs. But what about wide receiver versus secondary? Well, we know our secondary is dealing with some hits right now, so it's definitely something to look forward, or to not look forward to, but to look at. Individual matchups will often decide critical plays as well. It's going to be Robertson on Worthy, most likely, so not letting him go over top is going to be his job this week. Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson are going to have a lot on their plate. If JMO gets involved this game, especially. I think if JMO gets a bunch of catches this game early and kind of gets more established than he has been in the last few games, it's going to allow all that stuff to Laporta, St. Brown, I mean, even stuff to Gibbs just get going. It's going to be a handful for the Chiefs secondary, especially if we're able to get that play actions started early as well. It really goes hand in hand. And I think, honestly, our secondary is in a worse position right now, but if we are able to keep everything underneath us, we don't let anything, no 60-yard bombs to Worthy, no end arounds like that, nothing crazy. If we let this game kind of be controlled at our pace, I think we'll have a fine time winning this game. But not to say it'll be an easy one. It'll still be a battle against reigning champs. We're just going to have to see how it goes. But let me know what you guys think about this game and how you think it's going to turn out in the comments right now. It's going to take us into our second topic, just some roster moves ahead of this game, because we did just talk about how we were dealing with some injuries. So, what are the moves that Dan Campbell has made to combat these challenges? Well, we picked up veteran insurance policy on Wednesday, with NFL Network's Cameron Wolf reporting that the Lions are signing slot cornerback Arthur Mullet to the practice squad. The move comes amid shifting medical news around starter Terrion Arnold, who, after a concerning shoulder scare, which a lot of us thought he was going to be out for the year, especially me, made a video about it, has received a second opinion, like we discussed last video, that indicates he will not need shoulder surgery and should make his return this season. Now, how soon is really the question at this point. Mullet, a 32-year-old undrafted cornerback out of Memphis, has carved an 8-year career as a nickel/slot corner with stops at the New Orleans Saints, the Indianapolis Colts, the Jets, the Steelers, the Ravens, and most recently, the Houston Texans. He signed with the Texans on July 23rd, but was released on August 26th as part of the final roster cuts. Now he's been given a chance with the Lions because of our situation with cornerback and the amount of injuries we've been dealing with right now. Now, Arnold could even return later this month. So it was probably a good choice not going with the trade or anything like for the rest of the year, but picking up a guy who could help us depth-wise and who has some good upside, right? That is, in my opinion, better than what we're doing, especially now that we know Terrion Arnold isn't going to be out for the whole season, right? Through 5 games, he had 22 tackles and 4 passes defended. His 2-year pro totals sit at 82 tackles, 14 passes defended, and 1 fumble recovery for Arnold. Detroit enters Week 6 at 4-1 and will face the Kansas City Chiefs 2-3 on Sunday Night Football at Arrowhead Stadium, a game that suddenly elevates the importance of every available cornerback for the Lions. With DJ Reed and former second-round pick Ennis Rakestraw Jr. both already on IR, Detroit has leaned on Amik Robertson, Rockison, and Avonte Maddox as its primary perimeter pieces. Having more depth just helps. I mean, those 3 names. Are you excited that those are going to be our starters for the Kansas City Chiefs against Patrick Mahomes? Listen, Amik Robertson, love him. Avonte Maddox, he'll be fine. Rocky Sin, he just hasn't really lived up to the stock yet. But these are not, the starting 3-1 against Patrick Mahomes. And I think the sooner we get DJ Reed and Terrion Arnold back, even though Arnold has been plaguing us with holding calls, he is still probably going to be our best option in terms of upside and what he can do skill-wise. He's got the raw talent. He just needs to apply it in the correct ways. So I think it's good that we it's good that we got somebody else to help at the cornerback position, somebody with some upside, and we'll have to just see what they do for us if we end up needing them. But let me know what you guys think about that pickup and if it was even worth the effort from the front office. It's going to take us to our third topic. We're just going to talk about Hutch. Apparently there's been some reports going around that he's been, blocked unfairly, and Dan Campbell hasn't been happy, but Dan Campbell came out to put all the questions to rest. Dan Campbell denied a ESPN report from earlier in the season about how teams blocked defensive end Aiden Hutchinson. ESPN NFL insider Adam Scheffler reported a couple weeks ago on ESPN Monday Night Countdown that, quote, the Detroit Lions have taken notice and they've asked the league to the league office to monitor the plays against Aiden Hutchinson. Now that won't protect him out there, but clearly people have noticed some of the plays, and the Lions want the league office to notice as well, end quote. Clearly the team is satisfied with the impact Hutchinson has had this season so far. I think he's been doing pretty good too, especially coming off the kind of injury he had. As a follow-up, Campbell was asked about the report, and he has seen any changes in how the teams have blocked him in recent weeks. Dan Campbell then came out and said, quote, that's bogus. That's a bogus report. I don't know where that came from. Nobody from here ever did that. That's bull. Games played a certain way. That's the way it goes, man. It doesn't matter whether we're doing it or someone else is doing it to our guys. We know that. We play accordingly, end quote. So just basically saying there shouldn't be any funny business. They're not doing any funny business. And he would be pretty I think everyone would be pretty disappointed if someone was trying to purposely injure Hutch to take him out of a situation, right? So then, ahead of the game at Arrowhead, Campbell commented on his excitement for guys like Hutch who have kind of been coming back and getting these reps, and now they're going up against a championship caliber team, technically, saying, "quote You got to make sure your head's on straight and calm the hell down. That's the way you have to do because it's exciting, and you remember Arrowhead has always been one of those great places to play. It's like it's a top 5 or top 3. It's not the best. It's unique. The fans, the stadium itself, all of it. And then knowing you're going up against a top tier opponent, it's just the perfect recipe." End quote. So Dan Campbell's fired up. He's saying, "Don't worry, there's nothing going on. Hutch is cool. We're ready to go for Arrowhead." And he doesn't have any worries that the Chiefs players will try to do anything purposely to take out Hutchinson, which makes me a little bit happier. I'm not sure what really that whole report was about. I think it's kind of silly. I'm pretty sure NFL players kind of all have a code. You're not trying to go out there and purposely hurt nobody. Just play the game, win the way you're supposed to. And so far, we've been doing that. So I really like that. And I really like that we're fired up for this game ahead of the Chiefs. Despite their shortcomings, you can never take the gas off against a team with Patrick Mahomes on it. Let me know what you guys think about that, and that'll take us quickly into our fourth and final topic, just some viewer comments. Actually, some good ones today. Starting with Commando Woody says, This is a crazy season so far. Many teams who were great last season are doing terrible, while many teams who did terrible last year are doing much better. You got the Texans humiliating the Ravens, you got the Browns beating the Packers, the Patriots beating the Bills, you got the Broncos beating the Eagles. Now you have the Jaguars beating the Chiefs. The whole season is unpredictable. This gives me hope that the Lions can go far if they keep winning these important games. Yeah, Commando Woody, I think it is definitely this past week especially has been insane. Broncos beating the Eagles, did not see that one coming. I could see the Pats beating the Bills. I just had a feeling, especially the way it was like the Stephon Diggs revenge game, and he did really, really great. I kind of saw some of these happening, but man, it is pretty crazy how it has been a coin flip from last season. And I don't know if it's going to last the entirety of the season. I think, once Lamar comes back for Cooper Rush, the Ravens will start to do better. I think who else? I think once the Jags go into a little bit. I don't know about the Jags, to be honest with you. That one could be a total turnaround, and who knows? Maybe it's Travis Hunter. It's the Heisman. It's the Heisman magic coming to Jacksonville, Duval. But I'm not sure. It has been a crazy season so far. Hopefully, it's not a total flip because we were great last year, and if by your logic, we should be terrible right now. So hopefully, we continue to be good. But thank you so much for your comment, Commander Woody. I do appreciate it. And then secondly, as if Chowd Hurry 2718, I'm pretty sure that's how you say it, says, "Sure, grabbing Jordan may get us one Super Bowl, but we're angling for more than one. Not sure if it's equitable as you're suggesting. I think we'd much rather have a cornerback right now, and if we want an edge rusher, I think we have one in the name of AQM, Starksy and Hutch, Muhammad and Hutchinson. The Lions are 1.5 underdogs to the Chiefs in Vegas states. Usually Vegas gives 3 points to the home team, so in essence, the Lions are favorites. I think its line is 50 points. I take the over as it will be a shootout war in the Lions winning 34-31. That whole last part, the line going, taking the over, and then the score prediction, kudos to you. I do agree with that. I think that's a very reasonable line to go on. And yeah, Vegas gives home team the better odds. I get that, but it's also Patrick Mahomes, so they're going to give him a little bit of extra juice as well. I think you're absolutely right with Jordan. And I say this a lot too, and some of you guys in the comments totally disagree with me when I say, we're trying to angle for more than one bowl. We don't want to just fall into irrelevancy after selling all our chips to win one ring, right? And some of you say, well, that doesn't matter. We just need to win one Super Bowl. That's what teams in the NFL are here to do. I agree with you, as if Chowd Hurry. I agree that we have to angle for more than one because I would much rather win and continue to be good and win more Super Bowls over 5 years than one Super Bowl for the next 15 because we just sold the whole barn for a horse, I agree with you on that. And I also think now that a situation has changed a little bit, grabbing an extra corner is going to be much better. I like your nicknames. I like Al-Qadim Muhammad and I like Hutch together. I think they've been great so far. And when Marcus Davenport comes back in, he's just going to have to keep carrying his path as well. So I do appreciate your comment and I do agree with what you're saying here. I think it's very smart and I think that score prediction is pretty good. We're going to have to come back and see how that one turns out after this Sunday. With that being said, we are out of time here today. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Lions Latest. If you made it to this point in the video, tell me what you guys think about the roster movement as well. Tell me what you think about those statistics going into Sunday and what you think is going to stand out the most. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit this bell so you never miss a single video here. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video.